All right, guys. So I'm just down here, just thinking. I've really been sitting down here for like the last 3 hours in silence, um, just kind of contemplating this loss that we suffered to Georgia. Listen, I'm not mad about the fact that we lost to Georgia or even got smoked by Georgia because at the end of the day, I had Georgia win this game, and it is what it is. It's hard to beat an elite team twice in this league, especially in this conference. It's very hard to beat this team twice. And knowing that what our football team is and how one dimensional, no, not even dimensional, it's literally one sided. Like, we have no offense to speak of. Ty Simpson has regressed. This offensive line has stunk all season long because we keep rotating our offensive linemen. And then our running game, I hate to say it, our running back depth chart, they just don't fit the scheme. They're not, they're one cut, type of running backs. They're bruising style backs that are trying to play more in a West Coast scheme, that's trying to play more in a zone scheme. It does not work this way. Even though, again, we're a hybrid run scheme. Can't really say that we're more mainly zone. We're more of a hybrid, but still, like in this kind of offense, these running backs just don't fit the mold, and they're also not elite backs. They can't make anybody miss. They're not elusive. They're just downhill bruising guys. Really, we have a fullback or an H-back playing running back and Daniel Hill that's starting right now. And we won't give A.K. Deere an opportunity. We won't give all these other guys opportunities. If Kevin Riley was healthy, who knows? But the running back room is not good. I hate to say it, it's not good. And this is why I hate 5 and 4 star ratings, because we just simply can't rely on 5 and 4 star ratings if you don't have the proper coaching staff that can put these players in the right situations. It doesn't matter what their star rating is. If you don't have a coaching staff that can't develop these players right or fit the scheme, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do crap here. It's why you see Emmanuel Henderson and Kendrick Law be crap in this offense, but they go to somewhere else, to a place that knows how to utilize them, and they're excelling. It's why for years, when you look at your Javon Bakers and your who else? You got your Javon Bakers and your Malik Bensons, who's now exceeding with Oregon. That's exactly why those players were able to do what they were able to do. It is what it is. But, Justice Haynes, 5-star back, I called him crap because I'm like, bro, what is this? Why is he not exceeding within this offense? Until you watch him in Michigan, you realize, oh, it's not him. It's your run scheme. It's your offensive line. It's the coaching staff that's not putting Justice Haynes in the right possible situation to be successful. But I am extremely worried about the reason why I've been really sitting down here, just kind of contemplating and reviewing this game, or reviewing the season really, is because of this coaching staff, man. It's not even just the players. As much as I want to blame Ty Simpson, as much as I want to blame the players for not going out there, really your offense and special teams for not going out there and execute, who's putting this thing together? It's your coaching staff. It's your head coach, Kalen Deboers. And this man is loyal as hell. Nothing wrong with loyalty. I prefer people that are loyal. I said in my last video, ladies, you need to get yourself a man you need to get yourself a Kalen Deboers. You want to look at excellence. You want to look at, if I was a dad and if I could just tell my daughter, I'm like, listen, I'm showing the spitting image of a person that I would love to have as a son-in-law. It's Kalen Deboers. He is loyal as all hell. But loyalty in this business can only get you so far. Because look at his coaching staff. Look at the guys that he brought in with him. They were all with him at Washington, Indiana, and that Division II school. When Ryan Grubb got fired for the Seattle Seahawks, ironically enough, for the same reason, by the way, he's struggling in Seattle, struggled at Seattle, is he's bringing those same issues to Bama, by the way. Not running the football, being too cute with your offensive scheme, always trying to push the ball downfield. That's the same issues he had with Seattle, and that's exactly why they fired him in 1 year. But Kalen Deboers hired him back, not because Ryan Grubb was the best candidate, not because Ryan Grubb was an elite offensive coordinator. He brought him back because that's his best friend. You don't believe me? Look at the track record. Everywhere that this man, Kalen Deboers, has gone, he has brought Ryan Grubb with him. They have known each other and have coached with each other for 15 years. From the beginning of his coaching tenure, Ryan Grubb was with him. And now that we're starting to see again the regression, at this point, we know now that it's not just Nick Sheridan. As much as we want to blame Nick Sheridan, and yeah, Nick Sheridan does not need to be the offensive coordinator of this team, it's not just on him. Because your offense has regressed with Ryan Grubb as your co-offensive coordinator. So at this point, it's just the offense. And these coaches are not putting these players in the right possible situations for them to be successful. Now, will Kalen Deboers do anything about it? Will he review this thing and let Sheridan and Ryan Grubb know? Will he let him go? No. Why? Because those are his friends. Instead of firing or demoting Nick Sheridan right back down to being a tight ends coach, he made him a co-offensive coordinator. A co-offensive coordinator. Why? You couldn't even do the simple thing of demoting him. Why? Because you didn't want to hurt his feelings. You didn't want to hurt his feelings. Why? Because you have made it personal, Kalen Deboers. You have made it personal. This is a business. You make millions of fucking dollars. You have people that donate to this school millions of dollars a year constantly for this football program, not just for the sports program, for this football program to compete for championships on a yearly basis. And you have made it personal by not demoting and even firing the people that you brought in. But you'll be quick to fire. This is what I'm saying. The only firings I see that will happen are the people that he didn't come in with. So all the Saban guys that are still here, I can guarantee you some of those guys are going to be walking out the door. Whether if it's whether if it's because of him or because of they'll just walk out of their own out of their own way. If they just want to walk out just because. Maybe it's different job offers. Maybe they're just not comfortable being around this program because they've been around it since Saban and they've watched this shit fucking tear all the way down from the players dancing and playing loud music in meetings, from the players' lounges looking like a fucking museum park, looking like a goddamn amusement park. They have watched what Saban was able to do, and they have seen that this thing has slowly been torn down to pieces. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if this does happen. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they just walk off off of their own accord. But I do know this, Deboers will not let these guys go because he's too personal with these coaches. He couldn't even demote Nick Sheridan down. He won't even demote him down. That's how close he actually is to this coaching staff. Look at all the guys that he brought in, even the young guys. Look at where they played. Look at where they coached. All have personal relationships with Kalen Deboers. Now, some of them have been successful, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and some of them haven't on the offense, and some of them definitely haven't. We all know haven't on the offensive side. But that's a real problem to me. That if we're looking for any sort of hope of competing for a championship, we are watching a coach in real time choose the personal path instead of the business path. And it's going to be very interesting to see what this man does. It'll be very interesting to see what he does. Will he actually make the tough decisions? Or will he continue to value friendship like it's the damn Teletubbies over trying to do what he was paid to do, which was compete and bring a national championship to Tuscaloosa? Again, I'm not mad that we lost this game. I'm disappointed as all hell because I'm embarrassed. But I love my Tide. I will always support my Crimson Tide. But if there's any hope at all for this team to compete for championships, this man, Kalen Deboers, has to evolve as a coach. This West Coast shit that you brought here is not going to win. It's not going to do it. Look at all the coaches, the Josh Heupels, the Dan Mullins, the Dan Mullins. The only exception is Lane Kiffin. He's the only exception. There's not a lot of offensive-minded coaches that come in here, have their offensive mindset, and that shit just works. They just run through and dominate the SEC from a consistent basis. It just doesn't happen. Lane Kiffin is the only outlier. It does not happen a lot. And even for Lane Kiffin, this is the one thing I'll give Kiffin credit for. The man can coach offense, but he also knows how to bring in talent. They also know how to bring in talent, and not just any sort of talent. He knows how to bring in talent that fits the scheme. We don't even have players that even fit what Ryan Grubb and Nick Sheridan and Kalen Deboers wants to do offensively. And that's another kind of concern for me is, why are we not getting the right players that fit the scheme? We just watched Kurt Cinetti of Indiana have 2 losses in 2 years. What is going on here that we can't even do the thing that we thought would evolve, which would be our offense? The offense has been anemic. It's even worse than it was with Jalen Milroe. And so again, Kalen Deboers, knowing that we are in the lowest of lows right now with this loss, what are you going to do to make Alabama evolve to becoming a program that we think that it could be? Because this is year 3. We've had patience for year 1. We've had patience for year 2. We're now going into year 3. We're going into a year where you have wasted 2 very good defenses with a lot of talented players that have played their asses off. And your offense and your special teams continues to make major regressions in the second half of the year. The first half of the year is fine. The second half of the year is when these regressions start to happen. And that is extremely concerning to watch. So again, biggest concern with Kalen Deboers is that he's choosing the personal path instead of the business path. And if I can't trust your judgment as a coach, then I know that we're screwed. So we'll see what Kalen Deboers will do, because I'm done with this season. It's over. We're 10-3. We made it to the SEC championship game, and we got embarrassed on national television. It's done. We made the playoffs. Maybe we do beat A&M. I have no idea. I doubt it because of how shitty your offense is, but you never know what could happen. I'm still going to watch and support the team, but I know deep down that this is not a national championship caliber football team, and you guys know it too from watching this product. And if you guys think that we're still going to win a national championship, then you're just being a blind fan. And I don't blame you, because I'm not going to tell you how to fan. I'm not going to tell you how to fan at all. But you're not being honest with yourself if you watch that performance, not just from this week, but from the past month and a half, and think to yourself, yeah, Bama's only going to get better. Just like how Ty Simpson said. Ty Simpson still thinks that they have the best offense in the country. What a joke. So we'll see what ultimately happens, but Kalen Deboers is proving that this West Coast Pac-12 shit that you're bringing does not work in the long run in this conference. And until we actually make changes, and again, until we actually make changes, maybe not from a schematic standpoint, because I highly doubt that's going to happen, but from a personnel and coaching standpoint, we're just going to continue to be the same football team like we were the last couple years. We'll be good. But will we ever get to that level where we want to be at, where Kalen Deboers was paid top 5 money? I don't know if he can ever be that coach. And we just watched Brian Kelly fire their coach. We just watched LSU fire Brian Kelly because of that specific reason. We watched Penn State fire James Franklin for that particular reason. Was because they want it to be good enough to get to the level of a national championship caliber. We'll see what Alabama does in year 3. But until then, the only thing we can do is hope that they can finally figure this thing out from a personnel standpoint, and it all starts on January 1st. January 1st will be the most important offseason for Kalen Deboers for the Kalen Deboers regime. If they can't get the right transfers in here. If you can't even get any of the right transfers in here, then you better figure out a way to develop the last 2 fucking classes, and you got to do it quickly. Because you're only putting more pressure on yourself, and you're only losing more patience by not doing the things necessary in the offseason to get this team on the right track.